The father of three shot multiple times leaving an Atlanta restaurant and still lives to tell that story of what actually happened. And it all took place right in front of his wife. Well, the two spoke exclusively with our 11 Alive, Paulo Soro.
It was day one of vacation exactly 1 month ago. This Pennsylvania couple faced the unthinkable on the parking lot of a downtown Atlanta restaurant.
I thought I was getting ready to lose my life.
Emery Sparks says that after dinner, a valet drove their rental car back to them and handed him his keys. In that moment, he says a man in his early 20s jumped inside the unlocked vehicle. When Emery went to see what was going on, he was shot. His wife, Erica, says another teenager pulled up in the getaway car and shot again.
I think about these things all the time. I keep my head on a swivel because of these things. We got to get to a point where people stop saying they never thought this would have happened. Like, are you guys not sharing the videos? I mean, what's going on? You're not sharing these videos with your friends, with your family, with your groups on social media? Why are so many people saying, I blame you guys in the chat, man. It's y'all fault, man. Why so many people say this? When I'm making videos constantly about this stuff, showing you the breadth, the scope of this stuff. And this is what I talk about when I say these attacks happen. This is what the victims of these attacks look like 90% of the time. Even though we hear, well, I say 80% of the time, but even though we hear about other groups that, are being singled out, well, listen, man. They didn't play with this guy. They didn't just knock him upside his head. They didn't just leave him. The guy jumped in the car, and then when he came over, the guy shot him. And then another guy pulled up and shot him some more.
It was day one of vacation exactly 1 month ago. This Pennsylvania couple faced the unthinkable on the parking lot of a downtown Atlanta restaurant.
I thought I was getting ready to lose my life.
Emery Sparks says that after dinner, a valet drove their rental car back to them and handed him his keys. In that moment, he says a man in his early 20s jumped inside the unlocked vehicle. When Emery went to see what was going on, he was shot. His wife, Erica, says another teenager pulled up in the getaway car and shot again.
He just kept shooting again. They were just shooting him as if he wasn't nobody or nothing at all.
He is nobody. He's just another son man. They don't have any respect for son men, okay? When it comes to a son man, you getting it bad, Jack. Everybody else gets it. There's another son man, it's just, they gonna give it to you. They'll stand over you, kick you. And I don't blame these brothers for being wokey woke and talking about prison reform and defund the police. Because these brothers, this brother, no, he might go to jail, man, for having to defend himself or his wife. He wants shorter sentences because he know it's a jungle out here for him. It's just everybody else. It's white libs and sisters and other groups. When y'all talk that criminal justice reform, I'll be like, what? Why are you saying that? But these guys, if this guy's woke, okay, I can understand it. He may need to pack a gun now. A legal gun. He may not have a... It's a jungle out there when you're a son man.
He just kept shooting again. They were just shooting him as if he wasn't nobody or nothing at all.
Emery was shot 3 times, once on his arm, twice on his stomach. He remembers thinking of his 3 kids while taking what he thought would be his last breath.
And I thought about seeing them grow up and seeing my grandkids. I told my wife just to tell my kids that I love them and I want them to be all that they can be. I felt the pain lying on that ground.
His last memory, getting in the ambulance, 7 long hours of surgery, and a few days later, he recalls waking up in this hospital bed.
I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe this was what afterlife was like.
The rise.
These Sunmen, who everyone just like, it's just a given. Like, there's some kind of racism. The victims, they get the short end of the stick. No one gets access to the top surgeons on the planet more than Sunmen. No one. 7 hours of surgery to save this random Sunman's life. And this happens 50 times a day in this country. Where some Sunman is shot, he's rushed to the hospital, straight to surgery. I mean, top surgeons. I did a video on that. I don't know if I can find it. I'll try to find it. But the top surgeons in the country are in these inner cities. Hospitals. Stroger Hospital in Chicago. Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. GW in DC. The top surgeons. Medical College of Virginia in Richmond. The top surgeons in the country, in the world. In fact, surgeons from other countries come here to get training because there's so many gunshot wound victims in these inner cities. And then they get that training and they go back to these war-torn regions and they're able to, use what they've learned to save people in those areas. No one ever talks about that. Well, no one but us. I've done several videos on it. The average random Sunman. This brother could have been homeless. He could have had a rap sheet as long as a CVS receipt. And if he got shot up, he would go under the knife of one of the best surgeons on the planet. Guaranteed. And if he needed 5 surgeries, he would get 5 surgeries. If he needed 7-hour surgery, he would get a 7-hour surgery. And it makes you think, if it wasn't for all of that, think about what the death rate would be in the stand. Because this happens all day long. You don't think about, when you hear 15 people shot, it was a mass shooting, 15 people were shot and 2 died. 9 shot, 1 dead. Because the stand, it's always some crazy number like that. 10 shot, 3 dead. 8 shot, nobody dead. And you're done with it because that's all you have to deal with. Like, you don't have the bandwidth to deal with the whole story. You don't think all those people rushed to the hospital going in surgery. Getting cut open. Going under, getting cut open. Doctors saving their lives. You ever notice Chicago? You see the weekend? 100 shot, 12 fatally. You never thought about that? How it's like that?
His last memory, getting in the ambulance, 7 long hours of surgery, and a few days later, he recalls waking up in this hospital bed.
I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe this was what afterlife was like.
The rise in crime in Atlanta evident even for the couple who visits family and friends here often.
Atlanta has gotten bad with all the gun violence here since the pandemic, it seems like.
Since the pandemic? Come on, man. Since the wokeopolis, since the Blackistanian Spring, since the emboldening of sun criminals.
According to data from Atlanta police, there has been a rise in all of these types of offenses from now compared to this time last year. The number of shooting incidents has gone up by 29%.
I'm so blessed because some people don't make it through.
Emery, who's the breadwinner of the family, was discharged last week but will have to stay in Atlanta through at least March for more surgeries. There's a fundraiser set up to help the family with expenses and to help Erica fly back and forth between Pennsylvania. We'll have that link on 11alive.com.
Chicago. In the last hour, our newsroom counted at least 62 people shot from Friday at 5 p.m. until this morning. 6 of those people died. What you're looking at right now is a map of where all of the shootings happened. 11 of the people shot were under 18 years old.
CBS 2's Mugu Odigwe is live at Georgia Hospital, where a teenager is being treated after a shooting this morning. Mugu.
Yeah, good morning. The victim in this particular shooting is a 16-year-old boy. Police say he was walking his dog when he was shot. So here's a look at the scene. You can.
Where you at, LeBron? We can't even walk our dog without getting hunted down. I tell you, man, just looking at that looked like a rough area. Apartment buildings, and probably every one of the tenants is a Sun person. Rough area. So he's walking his dog. He's on the streets at night. This is the thing that people don't understand. There are groups of Sun men that are riding around in every neighborhood looking for someone to jack. When I was younger, we would ride around looking for girls. Ride all throughout the city. Looking for girls. Hey, maybe some holler out the window, maybe pull up on them. We just was always looking for girls, riding around looking for girls. Now, these guys are riding around looking for somebody to carjack or somebody to rob or somebody to shoot. Okay? You got groups of Sun men just riding around with guns in the car, fake tags, maybe a stolen car. And they may be looking for somebody to carjack. Many times it's tandems, multiple cars, so they can pin you in. Or riding looking for the ops. They may have rode through this neighborhood. And maybe the young guy was in a gang who got shot. Or maybe he was with some street stuff. And he just got caught slipping. But I just want y'all to understand, like, there are groups of Sun men riding around all the time looking for either carjackers, ops, or just someone to harm. It's real like that. Like, I'm not like making that up. Okay? This is real.
So here's a look at the scene. You can see an officer here taking pictures of evidence markers on the ground. Police tape is blocking off the entrance to this alley with even more evidence markers out there. This is near Leamington Avenue and Monroe in the South Austin neighborhood. Police say the shooting was just before 12:30 this morning. Again, that teenager was walking his dog when a driver got out of his car, approached the teen, and shot him. Police tell us the shooter then got back in his car and took off. That teenage boy was hit in the leg, but we're told he's in good condition and expected to survive. Police also say he wasn't able to give them specifics about exactly what happened with the shooting, so right now no one has been arrested.
Now, element of this is no snitching. Element of this is no snitching. But then there's also the element, you're walking your dog, a car pulls up, skirt, a guy jumps out in a hoodie and a mask, shoots you, jumps back in the car, skirt, you're laying there bleeding, your dog's barking, and it's like, what the heck just happened? So yes, there's an element of no snitching. I get that. But then there's the element of like, what just happened? You're writhing in pain. Your heart's beating 1,000 miles per minute. You know no one in the vicinity can help you. You're praying there's a glacier glider somewhere. You're praying that someone calls the cops because they hear gunshots so much they rarely call the cops. It's usually the shot spotter that alerts the cops. Because one gunshot, and then you got fireworks, they're still doing fireworks. You're praying someone knows the difference between a firework and a gunshot and calls the cops. So, like, yeah, there's some no snitching in there, but it's a lot of, what the heck just happened?
Police also say he wasn't able to give them specifics about exactly what happened with the shooting, so right now no one has been arrested. Well, I'm outside Georgia Hospital. Nicole Deepway, CBS 2 News.